Hey guys, my name's Christina and you're watching Proud Book Life. And today I wanted to tell you a little bit about my reading story. Can I call it that? Yeah. So, I've always been an avid reader. And my mom taught me how to read when I was about 5 or 6 years old. And since then, I've always been an avid reader. It started with Astrid Lindgren. She's a really famous Swedish author, and she made Pippi Longstocking. And I've always loved Pippi Longstocking for obvious reasons, and just because she's always fair and square, and she will not let anybody control her, and she will not be molded into somebody else that she's not. So yeah. I really love these books, and then my mom used to read them to me, and then I started reading them myself. After all of Astrid's books, I started reading Roald Dahl's books. My mom actually read this one out loud for me, and then I read The Witches by Roald Dahl all by myself. And this was probably the first longer novel that I read by myself, and I absolutely loved it. And if you haven't read Roald Dahl, which I know a lot of people haven't, which is weird, you probably should check it out. I think everybody can enjoy them, no matter what age you are. And I always loved mysteries as a child, and in Sweden we had what's called Lasse-Majas Detektivbyrå, which was a series of books. I probably have about 20 of these, which was a mystery, and there was 2 kids finding out who the murderer was. I read these like during 5 or 6 years, and from the beginning it probably took an hour to finish a book. They're really small, and by the end of it, it took me 10 minutes. But I always loved mysteries. So after this period of my life, I pretty much read whatever I liked the back of, and I often fell for kind of deep and scary novels. I don't know what to call it. I read, and I still love, crime novels, as I probably started reading these when I was about 12 or 13. Not this special book, but crime novels. It was like from these very childish to these very dark crime novels, which I absolutely love. I love crime novels. They're amazing. So yeah, and Lars Kepler is an amazing author. It's actually a pair, but they're both amazing. I love their books. And then I read really heart-wrenching books that made you think a lot. I read 3096 Days by Natasha Kampusch. And if you didn't know it, she was abducted when she was 11 or maybe 9. When she was really little. And yeah, I read a lot of books surrounding this subject. I read Sold and How Could She? I think that's the English titles. I don't know. I read a lot of books surrounding this serious subject, and I think they have given me a whole nother level of thinking and a whole other perspective that I think is very useful and important to be able to have some knowledge around this subject. And then I also read a lot, and I still do today, a lot of historical fiction. This is actually not historical fiction, this is actually autobiography, kind of like Natasha Kampusch's book. And this is called The Story About Leon, Schindler's Youngest Worker. And if you didn't know that, Schindler had a factory where he employed Jews during World War II and saved, I think, about 100 Jews. And yeah, I really love this book, and I love historical books, fiction or truth, whatever. And yeah, I absolutely love it. So if you don't know, I'm mostly reading English today. I think you can see. But all the books I showed you previously have been Swedish. The book I read in English first was Sacrifice by Paul Finch, which is a crime novel. I bought it in London when I was there with my best friend for 2 days. And I bought this in the beginning of 2015. So I've only been reading in English for about a year now, which is kind of strange because it feels like I haven't done anything else. But it wasn't the easiest book to start with reading in English. I wouldn't really recommend it because Paul Finch, he's Scottish and he uses a lot of Scottish slang, Scottish expressions that not even my friend who goes to an international school, all of her subjects are in English and she didn't even know what they meant. So I wouldn't recommend it, but this book was really, really good. Like, if you understand Scottish slang or just more English than we do, you will love it. Ooh, my nails match. You will love it, and I absolutely loved it when I finally got it. I'm pretty sure I did not get every single word, but I really loved it when I started to get the characters and the names, and when the mystery started to unravel. I really, really enjoyed it. After this, I pretty much found BookTube, and I guess that is what have led me to read mostly YA. Like, I read The Mortal Instruments because of BookTube, but actually not, because I actually continued Mortal Instruments because of BookTube. Because I read the Swedish City of Bones when it came out in Swedish, like 2013 or something, really late. And then I didn't know it was a series. But thanks to BookTube, I discovered that it was a series and I wanted to continue, and they didn't exist in Swedish. So I bought them in English. Best decision ever. I love this series. But yeah, so today I mostly read YA and in English. And it's kind of sad, I guess, because sometimes I miss reading, I don't want to call them deeper, but other novels, if you get what I mean. So I often read a lot of English YA and then maybe break it off with a crime novel in Swedish, because we have a lot of very talented Swedish crime authors. I don't know why, but we really, really do. So I try to break it off with a few crime novels here and there, and I also try to read like one deep, I don't know what to call them, like a novel that makes you think in whatever language that might be each year. Because I think it's important to not only favor the easy reads, but to actually read something that makes you think a bit more. Maybe not only about the characters and the plot, but more about your life and how it affects you and others around you, if you get me. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Your support means the world to me. Have a nice day / night / whatever part is for you guys. Bye! During 9 more fun for everybody's knowledge.